We have a major update on Bryan Danielson's AEW future. A long absent WWE star teases their return. A WWE legend makes a surprise GCW appearance. And Ronda Rousey reveals plans for a scrapped singles match with Becky Lynch. Hello and welcome to What Culture Wrestling, the solo Sunday news here. Myself, Andrew Pollard. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. I hope your weekend is going as well as it possibly can. If you are in London for All In later today, be sure to have the best possible time. I'm here in North Wales where I got to watch Wrexham beat Reading 3-0 yesterday. So I think I'm the real winner this weekend. Come on, the town. Anyway, into wrestling chatter and into Bryan Danielson. Now, of course, Danielson is due to wrestle later today, the expected main event of All In, where he challenges Swerve Strickland for the AEW World title, where if Bryan loses, he will call time completely on his wrestling career. Now, previously, it was a case of Bryan was winding down his full-time wrestling career with eyes on for next year of maybe just working a very limited schedule, the odd match here or there. Now, Fightful Select have somewhat of an update on Bryan, because on TV and in interviews, we've seen Bryan talk about his neck issues and saying that he'll probably have to have neck surgery before the year is out. And also talked about how the doctors don't want Bryan to wrestle or didn't want Bryan to wrestle until All In. Now, Fightful notes that this is not a work, it is a shoot. That Bryan Danielson, yes, was told not to wrestle. So that's why you've not really seen him. I mean, we've seen him wrestle against Jeff Jarrett, which Jeff, J-A-R-R-E-T-T. I'm always here for some Jeff Jarrett on my television. But yeah, that's the only match that Danielson has worked since, beating Hangman in the Owen Cup. That was in early July. So just one match between then and All In, and this is very much by design. The plans for Bryan's road to All In, they've been in place since at least the spring, Fightful reports, though people in the company became aware that Bryan would be able to, he wouldn't be able to wrestle as many matches during this run as was expected, and that's also kind of expected to be the case after All In, whatever happens after that. Now, Bryan, it's an interesting one because, again, this report notes that he's been legit working without a contract for the last 3 weeks. So technically, I mean, Bryan Danielson, if he really wanted to, could just go, yeah, I'm not really fancying Wembley Stadium. Get on a plane and turn up on Monday Night Raw tomorrow. Now, that is not going to happen because Bryan Danielson is not that sort of person. But yeah, the point being that Danielson is a free agent right now. He's working without a contract for 3 weeks. He has continued his role on the disciplinary committee during this time and also helping out with some creative, basically working under his previous agreement of his talent deal. Then Fightful adds that for anyone thinking that Bryan might be going away, they're not aware of him having said any big goodbyes. Because I mean, if somebody was going to be leaving the company, then especially someone like Bryan Danielson, there would be a big send off. There would be the goodbyes. Now Danielson is expected to remain in and around AEW even after his in-ring career does come to an end, whenever that is. AEW is expected to make a strong push to continue the working agreement with the American Dragon, and Bryan's made it clear he wants to continue contributing to AEW after his neck issues have been sorted. Now, for those thinking, could there be that WWE return? Could he turn up on Monday Night Raw? Which that's not going to happen. But yeah, they're obviously WWE. There's a lot of love. There's report notes for Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan in WWE for just him as a person and also for his contributions to the wrestling business. But Fightful have been told that there's been no contact with WWE. Just there's a lot of love there for Danielson. And as for Bryan's side of this, he previously said that the only way he could ever see himself back in WWE is essentially for the good of the wrestling business. If the wrestling business ever needed him to be there to do Bryan Danielson things, that's the only way he could see himself being there. So yeah, it's interesting to see where things go from here with Bryan. I'm thinking Bryan Danielson gets that AEW World title to that later today. I'm sure the match is going to be great because you've got Bryan Danielson, who was, I mean, could be some would say the greatest wrestler in the modern era. If he's not, he's in that conversation, very much one of the best in the world right now. Again, you could still make the conversation for him being the best in the world right now. And you've got Swerve Strickland, who has just been on a tear for the past, 18 months or so, just absolutely killing it. And especially in those big match occasions. So yeah, All In's shaping up to be a good show. I can't wait to watch that a bit later on today. A nice little roast dinner, watch some wrestling at a reasonable time. I believe it's a 6 p.m. start time in the UK, which is a godsend. Right, speaking of, no, there's no transition there. I'm just going to go to, it's Alexa Bliss. Yay. Yes, Alexa Bliss has been seemingly teasing a return to the ring. And again, this is kind of continued on X, where she's put out I didn't actually realize who this is because I am a old man who listens to music from the 90s still. Come on, the Shed 7 and Super Free Animals. But it was Taylor Swift. I'm one of those rare people, if I see a picture, I'm like, who's that person? Isn't that Jeff Jarrett's old babysitter? But yes, anyway, Alexa Bliss put out a GIF of saying, "Are you ready for it?" And it turns out it was Taylor Swift. Anyway, some digging revealed that for me because, hey, I'm so out of touch with that sort of stuff. But yeah, this is kind of again, been taken as a tease of Alexa Bliss making the return to WWE. She's been training at the Performance Center recently. Shared a clip of herself doing the Twisted Bliss finisher as well from the Performance Center. So it seems like Alexa is gearing up to make a return sooner rather than later, which is, I mean, this is someone who we've not really seen since, well, her last match was back in January 2023. I think it was just after the Royal Rumble. It might have been the night after the Royal Rumble. Anyway, she lost to Bianca Belair on a Raw. There were plans for her to return and align with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy. Then Alexa Bliss became pregnant in the March. Unfortunately, obviously, of course, sadly, we lost Bray Wyatt. So Alexa has been away for a minute, for what, 18 months or so by now. So yeah, we could well be seeing Alexa Bliss on our screens sooner rather than later. And it'd be interesting to see where she does fit in. I mean, do you do something with her in the Wyatt Six? Does she join the Wyatt Six? Is she against the Wyatt Six? Do you just completely avoid all of that and put her on a separate brand onto SmackDown? There's plenty of options here, Alexa, and there's plenty more in the tank as well. Only 32 years of age, I believe she is still, so there's loads more you can do with Alexa Bliss, and I think she'll be a welcome addition back to screens as and when we do see her next. This is someone that's came along so much since those early days in NXT where she was managing I was going to say, yeah, it was Wesley Blake and Buddy Matthews, which that was a really good tag team, man. That was a proper nice old school vibe of a tag team with obviously the weird techno-y music things going on. But yeah, I mean, Wesley Blake is still working with the company because he was on NXT, I think it was this week, just as he was one of the random bodies you see breaking up stuff. I'm sure it was NXT he was on. But anyway, Alexa Bliss, hopefully will be back soon. Somebody who made a rather shocking appearance last night for GCW, no less, was John Bradshaw Layfield. I believe one of only two wrestlers who blocked me on Twitter, so bollocks to you, JBL. The other one, of course, being Shawn Michaels, because why wouldn't it be? Anyway, yes, JBL appeared for GCW at Homecoming Night 1, where he got involved in the world title match. Now, the world champ was old Mance Warner, who was defending against Blake Christian, the former champ, Joey Janela, Matt Cardona as well. Effie appeared to try and stop Mance from winning. JBL turned up with the cowboy hat, the long coat, punched, knocked him down, decked Effie, and then hit two clotheslines from hell. Now, as much as I don't know, JBL, great heel, absolute great heel, don't get me wrong on that. Some of the stories you hear about him, he sounds like not the nicest of fellas, but I will always say that clothesline from hell, man, it's just a thing of beauty. Going back to his days in the APA, even before that, man, Justin Hawk, Bradshaw, whenever he nails something like that, it looked good. Obviously, pull in plenty of inspiration from Stan Hansen, but yeah, that clothesline from hell never fails to look impressive, and they look pretty darn good. The two he delivered to FA as well. Mansa, for those wondering, did retain his GCW World Championship. Now, this is an interesting one with JBL because obviously, he appeared earlier this month with Nick Nemeth for AAA Triple Mania, which is an interesting one in and of itself. Now he's appearing with GCW. This is someone who you kind of, yes, it was the gimmick, but he used to dump on ECW a lot. But you knew that was kind of some of that was part of his actual real thoughts, especially the hardcore nonsense, as he would call it. And now all of a sudden he's still up for GCW, which some say it's kind of like the spiritual continuation a little bit of ECW. That there are similar vibes to that, but there's a lot more to GCW. Much like there was a lot more to ECW. People lazily label ECW just the hardcore promotion. There was some darn good wrestling in that, man. And so same with GCW. Now I've not watched the entire GCW Homecoming Night 1 as of yet. That is on my to-do list later this afternoon before All In. So hopefully that is a decent show. But yes, JBL appearing with GCW, which is something I did not have on my bingo card here in 2024. Now, one final story, and it involves Ronda Rousey. Yes, Ronda Rousey's been in news cycles a little bit lately. She's, of course, doing the media rounds promoting her Expecting the Unexpected graphic novel. And she stopped by the Ring the Bell podcast, where she revealed that there were plans not just for Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey in a singles match, but also for that match to be part of Evolution 2. Yes, Evolution, the all-female pay-per-view that took place in 2018, was a really fun show. And WWE has not done an Evolution event since. Now, Rousey, it seems like by all accounts, this was after WrestleMania, what would it be, 39, this was kind of proposition to her. And as she put it here, they offered to bring it back as an Evolution for a second time. They said, Ronda, if you stay after WrestleMania, we'll have another Evolution in 6 weeks and have you and Becky as a singles. Ronda declined it because, as she put here, I promised my family, I was always saying, I want to go from WrestleMania to Survivor Series, and then Triple H convinced me to stay from WrestleMania to WrestleMania, and I promised my family, that's it, I've got kids and a husband at home, and just basically talk about the grind of being on the road for weeks on end. So it just was kind of like the goalposts almost being moved over time of like, well, just stay until this, just stay until that. And so by the time they propositioned her with a chance to wrestle Becky at a second Evolution, it was kind of one step too far. And then, as Ronda put, that match couldn't have happened anyway because she shattered a knuckle well. And then instead she'd go and tag with Shayna Baszler, which is something that she said herself, where if you don't tag me with Shayna, then I'm going to quit the company. And they had that little run where they had a big win in the 14 women's match at WrestleMania 39. We'll go on to have a feud where blown off at SummerSlam, where it was a massive win, probably the biggest win on the main roster of Shayna Baszler's career, and nothing really much happened. And now Shayna Baszler is part of the trio on Raw, whose name I forget. And I like Shayna Baszler; she's so good. And to be fair, I really like Zoe Stark, and there's a lot of upside with Sonya Deville. So the three people involved in that group, no problems with them whatsoever. It's just a bit of But Shayna, man, what a beast. That Shayna Baszler in NXT was just absolutely phenomenal. But yes, not too much on the main roster, unfortunately. I mean, not being helped by the fact that the whole there's Becky Lynch, I'm going to bite her neck because I'm a vampire. Oh, my word. Anyway, right. Let's wrap things up. If you're going to All In, make sure you have the best possible time later today. I'm sure that will be an absolutely fantastic event for those who go and attend at Wembley Stadium. I'm Andrew Pollard. This has been the Solo Sunday News here at What Culture Wrestling. Have a great rest of your day. There's an interview up with Nick Wayne I carried out ahead of All In. Go and check it out. Continue your YouTube journey here. Have a great rest of your weekend as well as it possibly can go. I'm getting out of here because I'm starting to ramble. Catch you later, Bill and Ted.